You've been told that forgetting names, losing your train of thought, and that mental fog creeping in after 60 is just part of getting older. You've probably accepted it as inevitable. But what if I told you that the real driver of memory decline isn't aging itself, but something happening inside your brain's blood vessels that almost no one is checking? Let me describe what's likely happening to you right now. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You see a familiar face, but the name won't come. You're reading a paragraph, and by the end, you've forgotten the beginning. You search for common words that used to come effortlessly. You feel that afternoon mental fog settling in earlier and earlier each day. Your thinking feels slower, like you're moving through water. And the fatigue, that bone-deep mental exhaustion that wasn't there 5 years ago. These aren't just signs of getting older. These are symptoms of cerebral hypoperfusion, neuroinflammation, and mitochondrial energy failure in your brain cells. In simpler terms, your brain is being starved of the oxygen and energy it needs to form and retrieve memories. And here's what most people don't realize. This process is reversible in many cases, especially if you intervene now. I'm a board-certified neurologist with over 3 decades of clinical experience studying age-related cognitive decline, and what I'm about to share with you comes from research conducted at some of the most respected institutions in the world: Harvard Medical School, Johns Hopkins University, the Mayo Clinic, and the National Institutes of Health. This isn't speculation. This is established neuroscience that you can apply starting today. Let me explain what's actually happening inside your aging brain. Your brain consumes 20% of your oxygen and glucose, despite being only 2% of your body weight. Every memory requires enormous cellular energy that comes from blood flow. As we age, the endothelial cells lining your cerebral blood vessels produce less nitric oxide, the master regulator of blood vessel dilation. When nitric oxide drops, vessels constrict, and less oxygen reaches your hippocampus, the memory center. Your neurons can't produce enough ATP, the energy currency needed to fire properly and form new memories. Simultaneously, chronic inflammation accumulates in brain tissue. Johns Hopkins researchers documented how inflammatory cytokines interfere with synaptic plasticity, your brain's ability to strengthen connections between neurons. Without strong connections, you can't move information from short-term to long-term storage effectively. Your brain also relies on acetylcholine for memory encoding and retrieval. When cerebral blood flow slows, delivery of the precursor compounds needed to manufacture acetylcholine decreases. Lower acetylcholine means slower processing, difficulty concentrating, and that frustrating experience of knowing something but not being able to access it. Harvard researchers identified mitochondrial dysfunction as critical in cognitive aging. When these cellular power plants become damaged by oxidative stress, they produce less energy and more toxic byproducts, creating a vicious cycle that weakens neurons. Now, the pharmaceutical industry has spent billions trying to develop drugs that address these issues. But while they've been looking for complex synthetic solutions, research published by the National Institutes of Health and multiple university laboratories has revealed something remarkable. Certain natural compounds found in specific beverages can directly address each of these underlying mechanisms, increasing cerebral blood flow, reducing neuroinflammation, supporting mitochondrial function, and boosting acetylcholine production. One drink in particular has emerged from this research as extraordinarily powerful for protecting and even restoring memory function in adults over 60. But before I reveal what it is, I want to walk you through the science because understanding how these drinks work will help you use them correctly and know what to expect. The research on brain protective beverages has identified 5 that stand out significantly above everything else. I'm going to rank them for you from number 5 to number 1, with number 1 being the most powerful for memory preservation and cognitive function. Each of these has been studied extensively, and each works through different but complementary mechanisms in your brain. Let me start with number 5. Green tea contains epigallocatechin galate, or EGCG. University of Basel research showed EGCG increases activity in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, responsible for working memory and decision-making. EGCG crosses the blood-brain barrier and acts as a powerful antioxidant inside neurons, neutralizing free radicals that damage mitochondrial membranes. By protecting mitochondria, it maintains consistent brain cell energy production. The study found participants who consumed green tea showed improved connectivity between frontal and parietal lobes, translating to better memory processing. Green tea also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that increases alpha wave activity associated with calm, focused attention. This combination creates relaxed alertness ideal for memory formation. Brew it with water at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling, and steep for 3 minutes. Drink it morning and early afternoon, avoiding it after 3 p.m. to protect sleep. Number 4 is tart cherry juice. Montmorency tart cherries contain extremely high concentrations of anthocyanins. A University of Delaware study published in Food and Function examined older adults with mild cognitive decline who consumed 2 glasses daily for 12 weeks. They showed significant improvements in verbal fluency and short-term memory, with brain imaging revealing increased activation in memory retrieval regions. Anthocyanins reduce neuroinflammation by inhibiting the COX-2 enzyme, lowering inflammation in your hippocampus and preserving synaptic connections. They also improve endothelial function in cerebral blood vessels for better oxygen delivery. Tart cherries are one of few natural melatonin sources, helping regulate sleep-wake cycles. Deep sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and clears metabolic waste. Choose organic, unsweetened varieties. Drink 8 ounces late afternoon or early evening, about 2 hours before dinner. The natural melatonin supports circadian rhythm, while anthocyanins work throughout the night. Number 3 is blueberry juice. Dr. Robert Krikorian at University of Cincinnati led a landmark study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry. Older adults with early memory decline consumed wild blueberry juice daily for 12 weeks. Results were striking: improved paired associate learning, better word recall, and faster processing speed. Functional MRI scans showed increased activation in memory encoding regions. Blueberry anthocyanins, particularly malvidin and delphinidin, accumulate in the hippocampus and activate pathways promoting neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons in the dentate gyrus. This continues throughout life if conditions are right. Blueberry compounds increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which strengthens existing synapses and promotes new ones. Higher BDNF correlates with better memory and reduced dementia risk. Reading University found blueberry consumption increased BDNF within 2 hours. These anthocyanins also improve insulin sensitivity in brain cells. Neurons need glucose for energy but require insulin signaling for efficient uptake. Blueberry compounds restore this sensitivity, ensuring neurons get needed fuel. Use 1 cup of wild blueberries, which have higher anthocyanin concentrations than cultivated varieties. Blend with 4 ounces of water. Drink mornings with breakfast. Anthocyanins absorb better with healthy fat, so consume with nuts or avocado. Now we reach number 2, beet juice. A Wake Forest University study in nitric oxide biology and chemistry showed older adults consuming high nitrate beet juice had increased blood flow to frontal lobe white matter within 2 hours. The frontal lobes control executive function, working memory, and processing speed. Using arterial spin labeling MRI, researchers saw brain areas with reduced perfusion light up after beet consumption. Beets contain high inorganic nitrates. Mouth bacteria convert these to nitrite, which is absorbed and converted to nitric oxide throughout your vascular system, including cerebral arteries. Nitric oxide signals artery walls to relax, widening vessels. More blood flow means more oxygen and glucose for neurons. University of Exeter found dietary nitrate improved cognitive function by enhancing mitochondrial efficiency, producing more ATP with less oxygen. The Journal of Gerontology reported improved reaction times and mental flexibility after 1 week of beet juice. Drink 8 ounces of organic beet juice in the morning. Peak nitric oxide occurs 2 to 3 hours post-consumption. Don't use mouthwash or brush teeth within an hour before or after, as antibacterial agents kill bacteria needed for nitrate conversion. Add lemon juice for taste. Vitamin C enhances conversion. Within a week, expect improved mental stamina, particularly during afternoons when cognitive fatigue typically hits. And now number 1, high flavanol cocoa. This addresses every major mechanism of age-related cognitive decline, dramatically increases cerebral blood flow, supports acetylcholine, reduces amyloid plaque, fights neuroinflammation, and provides nutrients your aging brain needs most. Studies from Columbia University, Harvard Medical School, and University of Reading confirm cocoa flavanols, particularly epicatechin, profoundly affect the aging brain. Columbia researchers published in Nature Neuroscience findings that stunned scientists. Older adults given high flavanol cocoa daily for 3 months showed improved dentate gyrus function on brain imaging, the specific hippocampal region responsible for age-related memory decline. Memory tests confirmed participants performed like people 2 to 3 decades younger on pattern recognition. Cerebral blood volume mapping revealed the dentate gyrus received significantly more blood flow after cocoa consumption. Flavanols had revitalized blood flow to the exact region deteriorating with aging. Cocoa flavanols are the most potent natural stimulators of endothelial nitric oxide synthase, producing nitric oxide in blood vessel walls. One study found nitric oxide metabolites increased over 40% within 2 hours of consumption, causing significant cerebral artery vasodilation. Cocoa flavanols cross the blood-brain barrier and accumulate in hippocampus and cortex, activating pathways that increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor production. The Journal of Nutrition found cocoa increased BDNF nearly 20%. Cocoa contains theobromine, which inhibits acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme breaking down acetylcholine. This maintains higher acetylcholine levels in synapses, improving memory encoding and retrieval. Research from Hershey Company labs with universities identified that cocoa flavanols reduce amyloid beta protein oligomers toxic to neurons. While not an Alzheimer's cure, data suggests it may slow harmful protein accumulation. Cocoa provides magnesium, essential for over 300 enzymatic reactions, including neurotransmitter synthesis and mitochondrial function. Many older adults are deficient, impairing cognition. Not all cocoa contains meaningful flavonols. Commercial alkali processing destroys up to 90%. Use natural, non-alkalized cocoa powder with stated flavonol content, ideally 500 milligrams per serving. Prepare with 2 tablespoons high flavonol natural cocoa in 8 to 10 ounces hot water or warm, unsweetened almond milk. Don't use boiling water, use 180 degrees. Add cinnamon for anti-inflammatory properties. If needed, sweeten minimally with raw honey or stevia. Drink mornings, 30 minutes before mental work. Cognitive effects begin within 1 to 2 hours and last several hours. Some benefit from a second early afternoon serving. Consistency is key. Benefits accumulate over weeks and months. Columbia participants showed progressive improvement with greatest effects after 2 to 3 months. Now let me address how to combine these drinks for maximum benefit. You don't need to consume all 5 every day, but there's a strategic approach that many of my patients have found effective. Start your morning with the high flavonol cocoa drink. This gives you the immediate boost in cerebral blood flow and sets the stage for optimal cognitive function during your most productive hours. About an hour later, have your blueberry juice with breakfast. The anthocyanins will begin their work on neurogenesis and BDNF production. Mid-morning, around 10 or 11, have a cup of green tea. The L-theanine and EGCG will provide sustained calm focus without jitters. In the late afternoon, around 4 or 5, drink your beet juice. This addresses the typical afternoon cognitive decline and provides nitric oxide support that extends into the evening. Before bed, have your tart cherry juice. The melatonin and anthocyanins support restorative sleep, which is when your brain consolidates the day's memories. This isn't about drinking massive quantities. These are modest, targeted amounts consumed at strategic times to support different aspects of brain function throughout the day. What should you expect? Most people notice the first changes within 7 to 10 days. The initial improvements are usually in mental stamina and afternoon clarity. That 3 p.m. brain fog starts lifting. You'll likely notice you can concentrate on reading or conversations longer without your mind wandering. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you may notice improvements in word retrieval. Those frustrating tip-of-the-tongue moments become less frequent. You'll remember names more easily. Your thinking feels a bit quicker, a bit sharper. By 30 days, many people report that the more significant memory improvements become apparent. You'll remember where you put things. You'll walk into rooms and know why you're there. You'll follow conversations more easily and recall details from earlier in the day or week. These aren't dramatic overnight transformations. They're gradual, progressive improvements that accumulate because you're addressing the underlying physiology. You're increasing blood flow, reducing inflammation, supporting neurotransmitter production, and protecting mitochondrial function. You're giving your brain what it needs to maintain and even restore its capabilities. I've seen this work in countless patients over 3 decades of practice. People in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who thought their cognitive decline was irreversible, who had resigned themselves to forgetting and slowing down, experienced genuine improvement, not because of expensive drugs or risky procedures, but because they provided their brains with the specific compounds that research has proven make a difference. Your brain is not a static organ. It's dynamic, adaptive, and responsive to the environment you create for it. Every choice you make either supports its function or undermines it. The research is clear. These drinks, consumed consistently and correctly, Create an environment where your neurons can thrive. Time is a factor here. The earlier you intervene, the more you can preserve. But even if you're already experiencing memory decline, the evidence shows these interventions can help. Your brain has remarkable resilience if you give it what it needs. This isn't about adding years to your life. This is about adding life to your years. It's about maintaining your independence, your relationships, your ability to learn and grow and engage with the world. It's about preserving the essence of who you are. Start today. Choose one drink, prepare it correctly, and consume it consistently. Then add another. Build the pattern over a week or two. Give your brain 90 days of this support and assess where you are. I'm confident you'll notice the difference. Your memory, your cognition, your mental clarity, these are worth protecting. And now you know how.